Hello everyone and welcome to Metagame Mastery, where it's not just about what the card does, but how it impacts the game. Battlebond preview season continues, and it really is Commander Masters at this point. It's freaking ridiculous. I've got some infinite combos for you, some new commanders, tons of exciting stuff. If you enjoy our content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're looking to support the channel, we have an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Any purchases made after you click that link, a small percentage comes back to help the channel. Without further ado, big time, go time. Let's go. Najila the Blade Blossom is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a red for a 3/2 legendary human warrior. Whenever a warrior attacks, you may have its controller create a 1/1 white warrior creature token that's tapped and attacking. You can pay Wooburg, that's one of each color, to untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Activate this ability only during combat. Amazing, amazing 5-color commander for Warrior Tribal. She multiplies the number of warriors you have on the battlefield, very akin to Krenko, but she has that incredible Hellkite Charger ability that is so exploitable. She can go infinite with cards like Sword of Feast and Famine. And Bear Umbra and Nature's Will are just 3 very simple 2-card infinite combo examples with this commander. So powerful. Archon of Valor's Reach is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, green-white for a 5/6 Archon with flying, vigilance, and trample. As Arcana Balor enters the battlefield, choose Artifact, Enchantment, Instant Sorcery, or Planeswalker. Players can't cast spells of the chosen type. Amazing. This is going to be the biggest limited bomb. Maybe not the biggest, but it's so powerful. And on top of that, this has value in Commander, even potentially being cheated into play in, say, Legacy. You can choose instants to shut down spot removal and counter magic. You can choose sorceries to shut down board wipes, and you can even choose planeswalkers to shut down Super Friend stacks, not to mention artifacts for affinity decks or enchantments for enchantresses decks. This is a very powerful hate bear in all formats. Angelic Chorus is getting a reprint. One of my favorite cards from Urza's Saga. It's 5 CMC, 3 colorless, white, white for enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness. Sort of a Tristani ability for the same casting cost, but it's harder to remove. And you could double up with Tristani. Very powerful effect. Gets your life gain out of control very quickly. Arcane Artisan is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a blue for a 0/3 human wizard. You could pay 2 colorless and blue, tapper. Target player draws a card, then exiles a card from their hand. If a creature was exiled this way, that player creates a token that's a copy of that card. When Arcane Artisan leaves the battlefield, exile all tokens created with it at the beginning of the next end step. Oh my freaking god. That's so cool. You ever wish that you could take a merfolk looter and staple it to an elvish piper? Well, guess what? It just happened. Ezra Oddsmaker is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, black and a red for a 3/3 Ezra warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may discard a card. If you do, choose a creature. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, you may draw 2 cards. So potential card advantage on an on-curve body, that sounds good. Blaring Captain is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a black for a 2/2 Ezra warrior. Partner with Blaring Recruiter, pictured to its right. Whenever Blaring Captain attacks, attacking warriors get +1/+1 until end of turn. What? Is that a warrior lord? Dang. Blaring Recruiter is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and white for a 2/2 elf warrior. It partners with Blaring Captain. you could pay 2 colorless and a white, create a white warrior creature token. Wait, did we just get a mana dump for warrior token generation? Holy cats! This is a dream combo for warrior tribal. This is a spectacular pairing, and if you're going into warrior tribal, you're playing these two colors at all, it's a powerhouse pair in limited. Awesome. Beast Within is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a green for an instant destroy target permanent. Its controller gets a 3/3 beast creature token. So we've seen this card before, originally from New Phyrexia. This is the quintessential spot removal for green in Eternal formats. It hits anything, and it gives your opponent just a vanilla creature. Super powerful card, needed to be reprinted because you never have enough of these in Eternal formats. Great inclusion. Bloodborne Scoundrels is 6 CMC, 5 colorless and black for a 4/4 vampire rogue with assist. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So this one's not terrible. We've got a vampire here that you and your partner in limited can pool your mana, play this on, get a 4/4 on turn 3 with a little bit of life drain. Not terrible. Also, I like that vampire is tribal is getting support in this set. Bonus round is 3 CMC, 1 colorless red for a sorcery until end of turn. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, that player copies it and may choose new targets for the copy. So we've got reverberate on crack here. It's freaking amazing. This is great in limited because it affects both you and your partner. There is the potential downside that this can affect your opponents. You would want to wait until a turn where your opponents are tapped down in order to do this safely. That said, it gets wild and out of control very quickly. Powerful card. It's going to go in many, many, many spell slinger decks. Brightling is 3 CMC, 1 colorless white for a 3/3 shapeshifter. You can pay 1 white, it gains vigilance until end of turn. You can pay 1 white, it gains lifelink until end of turn. You can pay 1 white, return it to its owner's hand. You can pay 1 colorless, it gets +1/-1 or -1/+1 until end of turn. So we've got a white morphling. Superman is back, and he's playable and limited. This guy is on curve 3/3 with a Swiss Army knife of upside. Yes, he's very mana intensive for modern Magic standards, but he can do it all. This thing's going to be a powerhouse in limited. Unfortunately, I don't think he sees play anywhere else. But if you draw this guy, he's a windmill slam every time. Chakram Slinger is 5 CMC, 4 colorless and red for a 2/4 human warrior. Partner with Chakram Retriever. You can pay 1 red, tapper. Chakram Slinger deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. Chakram Retriever is 5 CMC, 4 colorless and a blue for a 2/4 elemental hound. Partner with Chakram Slinger. Whenever you cast a spell during your turn, untap target creature. So these two are a great pair. The ability for you to shock potentially every single turn is extremely powerful. Ideally, what you'll want to do is play Shock Retriever first, and then be able to untap something you've already attacked with when you play Chakram Slinger that same turn. And then from that point forward, you'll want to activate Chakram Slinger before you cast your first spell on your turn, and then Chakram Retriever will make it so that you can untap Chakram Slinger. She's available as a blocker, and then she can shock once again at the end of your opponent's next turn, allowing you to deal 4 direct damage every single turn cycle. Very powerful combination in limited. Cheering Fnatic is 2 CMC, 1 colorless and a red for a 2/2 goblin. Whenever it attacks, choose a card name. Spells with chosen name cost 1 colorless less to cast this turn. So you have to kind of call your shot when you do this. But at the same time, we're looking at mono red mana ramp on an on curve body. 2 drops are the most important slot to fill in your mana curve in draft. So this is absolutely freaking fantastic. I love this card. Combo attack is 3 CMC, 2 colorless on a green for a sorcery, 2 target creatures your team controls, each deal damage equal to their power to target creature. So we're looking at green removal with no crackback. This isn't like fighting because you won't lose your creatures. The downside is it's very dependent on your board state. You have to have 2 creatures out, otherwise this fizzles. Bumble is 2 CMC, 1 colorless on a blue for an instant return target creature to its owner's hand. Gain control of all ores and equipment that were attached to it, then attach them to another creature. So we've seen this before in Commander. It's very much like Grip of Phyrexis. This has the additional upside of being bounce on top of that. And really, it doesn't require that your opponents have auras or equipment. That's just extra. So in that regard, this is a very powerful spell. I honestly, why would anyone run Grip of Phyrexis once this has been introduced into the meta? Grothma All Devouring is 5 CMC, 3 colorless green green for a 10/8 legendary worm. Other creatures have, whenever this creature attacks, you may have it fight Grothma All Devouring. When Grothma leaves the battlefield, each player draws cards equal to the amount of damage dealt to Grothma this turn by sources they controlled. So this definitely incentivizes people to cast Blasphemous Act. Haha! Otherwise, the drawback really looks like it's going to hurt, even though the potential's there for you to have a 10/8 on turn 5. What I really like about this more than anything is pairing it with Ghalta Primal Hunger. Also, Xenagos God of Revels will really like this guy. Jubilant Mascot is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a white for a 1/1 homunculus. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 colorless and white. If you do, support 2. So I like this guy because you don't have to tap him, you don't have to attack with him, you just have to hit the combat step. And then you can continuously grow you and your partner's creatures for the rest of the game. I really like him in Limited. Don't think he has any significant value outside of that. Corvus Fury is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a red for a sorcery. For each player, choose friend or foe. Each friend discards all cards from their hand and draws that many cards +1. Corvus Fury deals damage to each foe equal to the number of cards in their hand. So we're looking at a wheel effect for yourself that you'll at least break even on and burn on all your opponents. On top of that, if you're feeling political, this is card advantage for your partner in Limited, and in Commander, you can help somebody out so that you guys can gang up in a political game. This is an extremely powerful card that I think we'll see a lot of play in big EDH games. Ley Weaver is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a green for a 2/2 human druid. Partner with Lore Weaver. You can tap to untap 2 target lands. Lore Weaver is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a blue for a 2/2 human wizard. Partner with Ley Weaver. You can pay 5 colorless, blue, target player draws 2 cards. Okay, that's a lot of mana for 2/2s, and even more mana for the card draw ability. Now, technically, if you're in a position to play Ley Weaver, you can hit your land drop next turn, tap down, float the mana, untap 2 target lands, and then um, tap them for the mana required to immediately start triggering Lore Weaver. That's extremely mana intensive. Can this pull you ahead in a game? Yes, but you would need the game to already be at a stalled board state. I'm thinking this is good enough in limited, but this has potential to get out of hand in the right circumstances. Magus of the Candelabra is back. It's 1 green mana for a 1/2 human wizard. You can pay X and tap him to untap X target lands. Very exploitable ability. If you're familiar with Candelabra of Tawnos, many $100 card, super expensive and super powerful. This is basically the same thing on legs. It also is a little bit more restrictive because you can only run it in green decks and Commander. That said, I particularly like this in Two-Headed Giant, allowing you to give mana to your partner essentially at will. You can basically double their mana pool for a turn, allowing you to cheat very big, powerful cards in play. This is first pickable in draft. Mangara of Corridor is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, white for a 1/1 legendary human wizard. You can tap him, exile Mangara of Corridor, and target permanent. So this is a little bit slow, but it's removal for anything. That sounds good. Mind's Eye gets reprinted. An absolute classic, easily the best colorless card draw spell ever printed. It's been hovering at about $12 for a long time now, and it's going to get a great price break as these are introduced into the market. It's 5 colorless mana for an artifact. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may pay 1 colorless. If you do draw a card, much needed for those mono green, mono red, mono white, or even Boros color decks. They'll definitely make great use of this. And it pairs particularly well with this new card. Victory Chimes is 3 colorless mana for an artifact. Untap Victory Chimes during each other player's untap step. Tap a player of your choice adds 1 colorless mana. So when you have this out, this is all you need to continuously activate Mind's Desire every single turn with no downside. Super powerful pairing right here. Mystic Confluence is being reprinted, an instant classic of the Commander series, being reprinted now in a regular set. It's 5 CMC, 3 colorless, blue, instant. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3 colorless mana. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. So typically when you play this, you're going to counter a spell, draw 2 cards. But you always have that flexibility. Say they do have extra mana open. They have to pay 6 or even 9 to avoid that spell being countered. Or you can counter and bounce 2 cards. Or you can bounce and draw 2 cards. I mean, the flexibility is there. You can do many combinations with this card. And that's what makes it so powerful. It's running about $10 right now. Obviously, that's going to drop, but still an amazing selection. Speaking of incredible reprints, Arcana Revenant is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, black for a 4/4 vampire shade. Whenever you tap a swap for mana, add an additional black mana. You can pay a black mana, and Arcana Revenant gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Wow. This thing is sick. Mana doublers are good in any format. Mana doublers that grow based on the amount of mana available to you are even more crazy. This thing's a beast on its own and an absolute must-have in vampire decks, which have become incredibly popular ever since the introduction of Edgar Markov in Commander 2017. This thing shot up in price to almost $25. A very welcome reprint. Next up, we have a pair of new partner commanders with a very unique mechanic. We have a Khan, Eye of Chaos. He's 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a red for a 3/3 legendary Cyclops Berserker. partner with whatever that word is, Eye of Wisdom. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, double a con's power and toughness until end of turn. And then we have Eye of Wisdom. He's 5 CMC, 4 colorless and a blue for a 1/4 legendary homunculus. Partner with a con, Eye of Chaos. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, draw a card. So on their own, both of these are extremely powerful. A con, Eye of Chaos will always be a 6/6 during the combat phase on your turn, if not more. And then Eye of Wisdom will always draw you at least one card every single turn, if not more. Put them together though, and you get a minimum of 2 triggers on each every single turn, making a Con Eye of Chaos a 12/12 attacker for 5, and you get an additional 2 cards every single turn with the Eye of Wisdom, with potential for it to be even more. There are lots of coin flip cards already existing in Eternal formats. This will make for a very, very interesting build around. I love these 2 cards. Here we have another of the very powerful friend or foe cycle. This one is 5 CMC, 4 colorless and blue for a sorcery. For each player, choose a friend or foe. Each friend creates a token that's a copy of a creature they control. Each foe returns a creature they control to its owner's hand. This one I think is particularly good in 2-headed giants, allowing you to create a token clone for yourself and one for your partner, while at the same time doing 2 bounce edicts for your opponents. That's a lot of value for only 5 mana. Saddleback Logic is getting another reprint. It's 4 CMC, 3 colorless and green for a 3/1 lizard. When it enters the battlefield, support 2. Sentinel Tower is a new card from this set. It's 4 colorless mana for an artifact. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell is cast during your turn, Sentinel Tower deals damage to any target equal to 1 plus the number of instant sorcery spells cast before that this turn. So we have another pseudo storm effect. This one is specifically for spell slinger decks. Sorry, Cheerios. But at the same time, it also counts your opponent's or even your partner's instant or sorcery spells. That's going to get nuts real fast. I really, really like this card. Sky Shroud Claim is finally, for the first time ever, getting reprinted. It's 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 forest cards and put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Notice it does not say tapped. Notice that it does not say basic, which means you can put 2 shock lands into play untapped. Amazing color fixing, absolute staple in EDH. Sky Streamer is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a white for a 3/2 flying griffin with assist. When it enters the battlefield, target player gains 4 life. So 3/2 flyers are always highly sought after and limited, but at the same time, this one has the unique ability of potentially coming in for only 1 white mana on your part. You can bargain with people, offering someone who's in trouble 4 life they need to maybe survive another turn in exchange for you getting extreme value off of this card. Spell Snare is getting a reprint. It's 1 blue mana for an instant counter target spell with mana cost 2. If you've been playing competitive formats, you know that the vast majority of spells cost 2 mana. So this is an amazingly powerful counterspell in anything remotely competitive. Spellweaver Duo is 7 CMC, 6 colorless, and a blue for a 4/4 human wizard with assist. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target tapped creature to its owner's hand. So we have a conditional mana war effect, a sizable body, 4/4 human wizard no less, with relevant creature types. Mana War effects are always powerful and limited. This one you would definitely need to spread across both you and your partner's mana bases in order to make it worth your while. Basically, you pay 4 for a 4/4 on curve, and your partner would pay 3 to bounce an opponent's creature. Not terrible. Tandem Tactics is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a wait for an instant. Up to 2 target creatures get +1/+2 until end of turn. You gain 2 life. So double combat tricks is pretty solid. That's it for today. If you enjoy our content, please click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. Also, if you want to help the channel, we have an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Any purchases made there, a small percentage comes back to help the channel. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!